Alright, I know to a lot of you out there, I will be teaching my granny to suck eggs. Yes, another quaint English expression. It means, how can I put it politely? Your grandmother knows shit. You can't really teach her anything. So, do not try and teach your granny how to suck eggs. You might want to teach her to suck other things, but that's your thing. I'm on the last valve now. This is the last, oops, I can get my finger underneath, the last inlet valve. As you can see, all nice and clean. It has a thin grey line, but I want to do it more. So, grabbing the valve grinding compound. This one's called Rebuilder's Aid, and it seems to be much better than the one I had previously. So what you do is you just put a little dibby dabby dooby doo, and then another little dibby dabby dabby dibby dooby 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 doo. And yes, I'm insane. And then just smear it around. Okay. Get as even as you can, but don't panic about it. What I like to do, it says WD-40, it is actually WD-40, I've just put it in a different bottle. Give that a little squirt in there, and what I also like to do is just squirt the shaft. Nothing like a good squirt. And then that makes life a lot easier. Slips in there nice and good, and do put the cap back on. This stuff will go off and it ruins it perfectly good. Alright, now with a bit of spit on the cup, place on the center. Now on here it says no more than 1000 RPM. My drill does 2200 RPM, so I don't give it full trigger. Alright, and this is how we do it. Right, and just there the note changed. So I pull it up and push it back down again. There, note changed again. Note has changed again. Alright, and just to let you know, as I've mentioned before, I was counting in my head how long it took before the loud noise went to a quieter noise. And it started off in me counting from 1 to 6. And then I got it down to counting up to 2 before the note changed. Therefore, I figure I've probably got a pretty good seal now. But proof of the pudding is, as they say in the eating, get your valve out, pull it out very gently, you don't want crap going everywhere, and then what I do, you do what you want to do, so I get brake cleaner, And I blast the valve. My wife hates this stuff. There, now I hope you can see that. That is a nice, even, when it dries, a nice, even, grey surface. Just got to get it to dry. Alright, so next thing to do now, we've cleaned the valve, so we don't really want to stick that back in the hole. I know you like sticking it back in holes, and so do I, but in this case it's not a good idea. Paper towel again. Shh, don't tell anybody I'm using paper towels. Soak. Brake cleaner. Give it a good old wipe. Now I pull the towel out, and because the cleaner has soaked through, I just turn it round. And then I throw it away. Then getting the brake cleaner again to shoot it up the valve stem, because if any crap's gone up there, you want it gone. Alright, let's see. I see a pretty even grey line. Of course, as always, proof of thy pudding is in thy eating. In other words, boys and girls, we'll see. So, the final stage that I do is spray the shaft again with some WD, and in the hole again with WD. Make sure it slips in nice and easy. Beautiful. Now, when I reassemble this, which I will be showing you, I will be putting it together with assembly lube. Lucas assembly lube. When this engine starts for the first time, you don't want metal to metal. The WD-40 will dissipate. Ooh, isn't that a big word for a Tuesday afternoon? That tells you when I'm recording this. So it's better to put something on, and this is real sticky. And you put the sticky stuff on, the engine lubrication, assembly lube, and it is very good. So next I'm going to clean all of the valves, mark all of the valves where they come from, then take out one set, I haven't decided yet, exhaust or inlet, and put them to one side with the numbers on them so I know where they belong. Then I will tilt the cylinder head over, get out my valve spring compressor, get my nice new valve springs, the collets, what else have we got? The retainers, and also the cups that prevent the valve spring from chewing its way through the head. So that's the next thing to do. Alright, I won't show you me marking it, that'd be kind of dumb, you know how to mark things. And well, I'll show you me doing the other bits. Alright, reminder time. Jaguar being Jaguar and being based on, I guess, aircraft engineering, the cylinders are numbered from the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the front. This is the front, as you can see. So I like to do it that way. You do it whatever works memory wise for you. This works memory wise for me because I've worked on more of these engines than I care to think about, and I always remember it's labelled from the back to the front. Alright, next thing is to take a set of valves out, and from where I'm sitting I will probably just take out the inlet ones because that's simplest. He says, hang on a second. No, I won't. I am lying to you. I'm going to take out the exhaust ones and deal with the inlet ones. Why? Because that means rolling the head towards me. Simple. Especially as I've got a fucked up wrist at the moment. It's not even wanker's cramp. I don't know. Old age, I guess. Aren't we lucky? Alright guys, let me now take out a set of valves and get myself set up, ready to show you the spring, collet, etc. installation. Alright, 2 of the valves are in. The third one here is not yet in. It's just resting there at the moment. I have everything on and I've got to now do the spring and the collets. Unfortunately with the homemade spring compressor, it's not as easy as it should be. And one other thing to show you on this head, you see that right there, 030. That is an indication that they had to take off 30 thousandths of an inch from this head. I have highlighted it in yellow because if anybody works on this engine after me, I would like them to know, hey, it's 30 thou over. 30 thou off, which is why it's leaking like a sieve. Hey, shit, I hope not. Anyway, I'll be keeping this until the day I die, so I guess it'll be one of my family that will benefit from this. Either my wife or my son, or maybe my brother. What a horrible thought. Sorry guys, with all this coronavirus shit going on, makes you think of these things sometimes. Alright, let's get back to a brighter thing. Next is to do that valve there, number 4. Alright, I have been struggling with this, there's no denying it. Some of them go in easy, some of them don't. The valve goes in easy and all the springs, but getting that thing compressed and getting those collets to lock in so that the valve spring doesn't fly out can be a little tricky. I did obviously succeed in doing one side now by using my little pick here and a little hammer, and just, you know, it takes a while, it takes patience. Sometimes you have to walk away, and I've walked away from this a couple of times already. Alright, so the next thing is to do the inlet side, and again, as I said, I've already marked all of the valves. On each valve you will have the springs, you have the collets, and you have the retainer and the dish at the bottom, plus you have the rubber seal, which is hiding from me right now. Ah, there it is. So that's my pack of seals. Obviously I've already used one pack, I've done one side. So when I get to the other side, I will just show you the process of doing one of the valves, and obviously it relates to all of the valves. Oh, another minor thing, I took my old spark plugs and put them in my ultrasonic cleaner. Not that I'm going to use them again, but I am going to put them back in these holes. For why, you say? Well, for when I do the test to see if the valves have actually sealed properly, I'll just put these plugs in and tighten them up, and then fill the bores full of gasoline and see if it leaks through. Keep your fingers crossed it doesn't. Then once that is done, the next thing will be to polish the head. This area here, this will all have to be polished. That will be painted in there. This will be painted. That bit I think I just said will be polished. This will be painted. And this will all be painted. So, still a fair bit of work to do on this head before it's ready to go back on. I've ordered the studs now, which has cost me over $150 for the studs. But, as I previously mentioned in one of my very early videos, they've been on there since 1964. I really think it's time they were retired. Funny, I thought I retired, but now I'm busier than ever. Oh well. Hey, at least I'm not sitting around just watching television waiting to die. When I die, it'll be a surprise, hopefully. Okay, that's it for the moment. Next thing will be me showing you how just to do one of the valve and valve springs. Alright, just want to show you the sequence of putting these valves in, and whilst I'm sure you're quite capable of doing it, it does no harm to show you. First you have to put in this little dish. Now this dish is to protect the aluminum, so just push it in there, make sure it seats down. You might need to give it a bit of a tap, as I am, and then you'll hear the sound change, and so you know it's seated. Next thing to do is slide the valve in. Now I am lubricating the valve just on the shaft. Now stick it in the hole, and as I'm putting it in the hole, I know you can't quite see it, but I'm spinning it because I only put the goo on one side. Next, slip the seal over. That needs to be on there. Hold the valve with your finger and just push the seal down. It'll go eventually. Okay, now that valve's going nowhere. Then you've got your two springs, your first and your second. Now yes, you could have put them both on at once, I just wanted to show you that there were two springs. Then next goes on the retainer, and then we have the two collets. Well, of course I can't just put the collets on. Now I don't know how this is going to work. I'm going to do it live and we will see. Okay, come on baby, here we go. And you're probably not seeing this, but I need to get this lined up, sorry. What did I say? That's it, push that down. Oh, okay, now I've got to wind this up a bit. Now I'm not going to make you sit and watch me try and get these collets in, but let me just very quickly show you. Get the collet and drop it inside. Make sure that you keep the fat edge upwards, okay, because they're tapered, and then there's that little ring inside that clicks onto the valve. And let me just show you on one of these other valves over here. See the valve here, and it locks into the valve just like that, and that prevents it from coming out. Okay, just wanted to show you that. So I'm now going to continue to put this other one in, get it all lined up. It's not easy doing the filming and showing this at the same time, especially as I can't see what you can see. But I'll show you in a second, not that you probably care, with the valve locked in place. Hopefully you can see this. I've got the two collets in now. They have gone down, and I'm about to release the pressure on the spring compressor. I'll do this slowly, as that's the safest way to do it, because then if you try and release it all at once, that's when you get a face full of spring. Not a good idea. And there it is in position with the collets in place. And one thing I like to do, give it a tap with a hammer, because I'd rather it flew out now than when I've assembled the engine. I'd rather it didn't fly out at all, and it is nerve-wracking when you do that, but it's just something I do. The choice is yours. Alright, I'm not going to show you, as always, the rest of these being put in. The next video I will make will be putting in the cam bearings and the shims, then the camshaft, and setting the clearance. Do note that as I have had new valve guides, new valve seats, and ground in all of the valves, the original shims are basically going to be useless, but they are a good measuring device. I will put them in, measure the clearance, measure the shim, then I will know what I need size wise to put in each and every one. What I will do ahead of time is I will measure the shims before I put them in, because that's a calculation you need to know. I will set up a form, probably in Word, so that I know what is in there, what the clearance is, what shim I need to put in there, and whether it's exhaust or inlet, of course. I'll show you that sheet, and should anybody want one, I'm sure we can figure something out by me emailing it to you. No point in going to charge you for it. I'm just going to send it if it's of any use. I haven't created it yet, but we'll see. Alright, time to say goodbye on this particular video clip. The next thing you see will be all of the inlet valves in position. Alright, further down the road now, just doing the last two, and realised one thing I had not mentioned that I should, is when I took all of this apart and I'd finished cleaning the relevant parts that I was keeping, and I put them in Ziploc bags. And guess what I put in with yes, the assembly lube. Just squirt some assembly lube in the Ziploc bag. One, it helps prevent rust, and two, when you're reassembling, they're already pre-lubricated, which is a plus. Okay, just thought I'd throw that one in there. And obviously the springs, they already come with a coating on them, you know, kind of an oily-ish coating, not as the same as assembly lube, but there's enough on there that you don't have to worry about them. And the next thing, as I think I've already mentioned, is to get the cam bearings in and the camshaft, and then start assembling. One other thing I'd like to show you guys. Oh no, that's the wrong bag. That's what she told me last night. You're the wrong bag. Where is the bag that I'm looking for, guys? Has it grown legs and gone for walkies? No, it's hiding behind the other thing I'm doing, the alternator. See this? This is a bag of shims. This tells you I've done more than one Jaguar XK engine. And as I've said before, I'm no expert, but I know a lot of shit. There's a lot of shims in there, all different sizes. Haven't got a clue what size they are. I think there's 2 of them are marked and the rest of them aren't. And don't think, by the way, that you can grab a shim and go, oh, you know, this is a 4000 shim and I need it to be a 2, I'll grind it down. No, you take the hardening away. So that's no good doing that. Once you take the hardening away, unless you re-harden it, it's just going to wear through in a heartbeat. So don't do it. Buy new shims. I've got old shims here, but they're hardened. So, just thought I'd show you those. And of course, I do have the original shims that I took out of all of these. And as I mentioned, I will be putting them back in. But first, spark plugs in holes, pour in gasoline, see if the buggers leak. Because if they do, I have to take them out, I have to regrind them, and that will adjust the amount of shim that I need. This is a long, pain in the ass process, but once it's done, it's done. It's good. So, hey, it's worth the effort. Especially if, like me, you love these cars. It's worth doing. Do it right. Alright, it is time for the litmus test. All the valves are in, locked down, the valves have been ground. I've put in temporary spark plugs. I'm now going to fill each of these chambers with gasoline. And if I'm lucky, it won't go down. If I'm unlucky, it'll go down, and I got to grind the valves again. So here we go. I have my giant syringe. Not sure how much I'm going to need for each of these. Looks like a syringe full, does it? Yes, and I'm going to make you suffer while I do all of them. So if you're going to talk amongst yourselves, please feel free to do so. Or just talk to yourself. I do. I'm doing it right now because, well, let's face it, there's nobody here but me. Yeah, you're watching the video, but I can't hear you. Sometimes wish I could. Just going to bring the level up here. Just make sure I get above the valve seat area. Just in case, eh? So you guys are going to see it fail as I see it fail if it fails. If you're a praying type of person, you could pray for my car engine. Don't bother praying for me, I don't believe it. But maybe my engine does, huh? I'm seeing bubbles there. I don't like to see bubbles. 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 What was that? That was a monkey, wasn't it, somewhere? Somewhere I did something. Can't remember. Really not that important in my life, I guess. I remembered it. Let's give that one a little bit more. Just to make sure. And that one too. Now I don't care if it leaks out through the spark plug hole, as long as it's just the spark plug that's the problem. Okay, let's get one last syringe full. Now don't worry, I will not be wasting this gas. I'll be mixing it with tonic later and enjoying a nice drink. Ah, retard! He drinks gasoline! No, I don't. I drink petrol. I have much better things to drink. Now they get them up to the level to make sure. Now this one needs a little bit more. Anybody else need a little bit more and a little bit less? Alright, we are all full. Yeah, that one could do a little bit more. Number one just needs a little bit more. Let's make sure we bring it up to a good level. Don't want to fuck around. Alright, let's see. Let me just drain this off. Alright, let me just rest that there. Okay, every one of these, ignore the bubbles, they're just there to annoy you and make you worry. Go away, bubbles. Go away, bubbles. Go away, bubbles. Get rid of that damn monkey. I wonder why it does that. Hey. Go away. Go away. Get rid of all these bubbles. Why? I don't know. Alright, we are all full. So, let's do the damnedest and have a look in the holes. Hopefully I can see. Let me take this off of my head. I see oil there. I don't see gasoline. Same there. Same there. Oh, same there. Yep. Alright, so it looks like the inlet side is perfectly okay. Unfortunately, I can't get round to the other side. I can't go to the dark side. These are exhaust. But I don't see any trace of trickles. Let's give it a few minutes. I'm not going to make you wait for that. We'll give it a few minutes and then I'll come back. Alright, we do not have perfection. It would appear that 3 and 4 inlet are leaking, as can be seen there. Also, it would appear that number 2 exhaust is leaking. They're not leaking terribly, but it's not good enough for me. So, I will now take out 2 exhaust, 3 and 4 inlet, grind them again, and do the test again on cylinders 2, 3 and 4. Double check in here on the others. They certainly appear to be okay. Although I am seeing number 6 here is down. You can see something in there. Let me see if that's oil or gasoline. Hard to tell. I'm going to leave this a few more minutes and see what happens. I may have another inlet one that needs to be done. I think I'm going to give this another 30 minutes to confirm, and then I will be sure, because I don't want to go and do this and do this and do this. I want to get it right. Well, they say patience is a virtue, and I'm virtually got no patience. So I've waited an hour now, and whilst all of these have gone down a little, they then all stopped going down any further. I'm inclined to believe they just need to bed in. So I'm going to take that chance. I'm going to drain all of this out, going to flip them all over, and I'm going to get the shims sorted out, get the cam bearing sorted out, and put these babies in and see if we can get the shims set up. That will be another video. It's not going to be on this one, it's going to be on the next part. Sorry to keep you in suspenders. Ooh, suspenders, stocking tops. Oh, and the laughing zone. You guys that are out there that are as old as me, or maybe slightly older, younger, do you remember stocking tops? Much better than tights. And the laughing zone. What is the laughing zone, you may ask? That zone is the zone between the stocking top and the young lady's underwear. Because if you got your hand there, you were laughing. Oh boy, my youth.